Let's talk about fundraising. So, how much have you guys raised and over how many rounds?
We have raised to all combined over $240 million.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
amazing. And the most recent was a Series
E
E.
that we
Huh.
closed the first half of this year for one for what that was a $100 million round led by the folks at Fidelity.
Fidelity, yeah,
Yeah,
interesting. Let's go back though to the earlier days.
yeah.
You said earlier that you were kind of seeded with this 500K. What was the venture firm you're at?
I work. It was. I worked for. His name was is Michael is Michael Deering at
Okay.
Harrison Metal,
Uh-huh.
which is the fund
Yeah.
that he created.
That was
Yep.
your seed, your angel.
Yeah. Seed Angel. Yep.
And okay, cool. So maybe talk about those early days. It's you got 500K to kind of explore this concept, and then
Yeah.
when did you decide, all right, it's time to actually raise some real money, and how did you kind of put together an investor roster?
Yeah. I mean, every round is quite different, and the bar goes up for every round, and what somebody looks for changes.
Yeah.
You know, um, I in the beginning, right, in the first few rounds, it's a lot on vision. So
Hmm.
you really have to frame what is it that you want to do. We raised our then our seed after that and our A actually before launch.
Okay.
that
Hmm.
that is that is a rare thing to do. I think there's I'm sure everybody talks on here on these podcasts, right, about when is the right time to actually raise. If you can, right, and it's not, you can't always, depends on the idea, depends on you, team, the investor, all this. In the beginning, I always prefer to raise on vision than on metrics,
Hmm.
because your metrics out of the gate are never going to be great.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
so you need enough money and funds to be able to have the time to actually improve them. So if you can, you try to raise beforehand. The really tough part about that is, right, there are a bunch of investors be like, I'm not investing in you up until I see if it actually works, right?
Sure. Hmm.
Or or if they do invest, the price is really going to be worse. So one of my tricks or hacks or my approach to that is, what things can I do before launch that will help drop the risk? So for
Hmm.
example, if you think about the risks for our business, are we going to be able to sign any of these people to actually teach? Right? Are you going to be able to afford any of the deals? Are you going to be able to make classes that are good? Are people going to actually want these classes?
Yeah.
Right? All things like that. So I try to devise experiments and tests where I could get some answers to those even before launching. So for example, to sign an instructor, okay, well, I can sign an instructor before launch. That actually I have to do. But if I can prove before funding that I got a few yeses, that's going to answer that question, right? Two,
Yep.
how do I prove I can make a really good class? Well, I need the funding to make a class, but I could do a test class. So we actually got my
Mm.
parents to film a test class, right? I did not pay them, right?
Uh-huh.
They did that for free, right? But wanting to see if we could do it. On demand side, we did polls, right, and surveys, and things that then. So when I went into the to actually pitch for the seed, it was I could paint a picture of where I was going, and I could show all these test results, which A, reduce risk. Two, it also, I think, sends a sign to the potential investor: hey, this is somebody who
Mhm.
understands risks, is trying to solve it, is scrappy. All really good signs, I think, for an
That,
investor.
that's great. I think, I mean, I don't know how many startups, because I deal with them all the time, who are stuck in that void of, hey, we've, like you said, we've got this vision, we don't have metrics, we're in this void of like, if you give us money, we can build this, and they're stuck trying to get out of that valley, and so this is good for that. That's great. How different was the pitch back at that seed round? Was it, we're going to assemble like the world's greatest masters, or is it, does it stay true to, or is it a different pitch?
Yeah, it's a very good question. The core idea has stayed the same. There's a lot of how we executed and what we did, or results that we did not expect or anticipate. Early on, we always wanted to go to a subscription kind of mode. That wasn't what we talked about a lot in the first pitches,
Mm,
right? Because that was still far off. We needed enough classes, et cetera,
yeah.
right? So that became a very large part of the business. One thing we did not anticipate was instructors would then really want to be on our site and on the platform, right? As you build a brand of really high quality stuff, people want to learn that would attract that. That wasn't something that we really thought of, right?
Yeah.
So I think the core idea stay the same, but different aspects of it. And then the pitch has fundamentally changed, right? So in the seed pitch, it was me, right? And
Mhm.
so it was me talking to investors. I'm selling them. It was just me at the pitch,
Yeah.
right? They're spending a lot of time to get to know me, to check on me, other people that have worked with me, et cetera. At the Series E that we just did, it was me and our finance team. Most
Mhm.
of the time isn't spent with me. Most of the
Yeah.
time is spent with our finance team, because at that stage, at that growth stage, I can have all the hustle, charm, and vision I want, but if the numbers aren't there, they
Yeah.
are not invested.
Interesting. Interesting. I want to come back to that because I think
Yeah,
we haven't got too many folks that had a bunch of B rounds, but not many like E rounds. So I want to come back
yeah,
to like
yeah,
tips for pitching at the E round.
yeah,
But let's stay with the sort of early days. So seed and A vision. Now is B round kind of like, all right, here's vision plus some metrics. Maybe
yep.
talk about putting that round together.
Yeah, so the B round was we did the A round probably about 8 months before launch. It was led by the folks at Javelin, who are
Mhm.
fantastic and great. The B round we did a couple months after launch, led by NEA, also great.
Mm.
That there was traction, right? So there's some traction, so they responded to it. But if I'm being straight, right, and honest, our stats were a mess, right? It was
Mm.
a couple months after launch. We did not have good dashboards, right? I mean, you're still trying to understand things. Every input is a signal. You're trying to figure out if this is important or not. So I actually remember in the B round, what we loved about the fund we went with, NEA, was a bunch of things, but one was they actually helped us prepare our deck.
Mm.
If you think
Interesting.
about that, that is crazy. Why would a venture capital firm who wants to get in on the deal help you prepare a deck that you're going to show other people, right?
Sure.
But there was two reasons I think for it. One is, we hadn't prepared a deck for that stage, and so they were great and be like, hey, look, you probably want to show this stat too and this stat. You guys forgot this, and you're like, oh shoot, that was a really good idea.
Mm.
In that, so A, it was stuff that they, I'm sure, want to see, but B, it built trust because you see how they think about things. You see
Mm.
that they actually want to help. It's not just about winning the deal, but they want to help, and that builds trust. And I have a lot of thought on how you pick investors, but I think that to me was a really great sign.